15th, and this is the City of Anderson Board of Architectural Review. Addenda?
No, sir, not at this time.
Has any of the members, have you all reviewed the minutes from last month? Any changes? Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion.
Motion from David, second from Mary Lou. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are carried. Approved. New business?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. BAR 2336, Earl Street renovations. The site is outlined in red here. You can see Earl and Orr Street sort of running diagonally across the middle of the screen, and then down horizontally, and then down the center is Clemson Boulevard, Main Street. I hate that it's called Clemson Boulevard, but anyway, Main Street. Everybody know where we are? Okay. The applicant is requesting approval of the following renovations to the building. Replace the existing terracotta coping on the roof parapet with black metal coping. Replace both shingled awnings with metal awnings. All exterior doors and windows will be replaced with black storefront windows and doors, and add handrails to the rear exit steps. Now, this application was before the bar in August and was tabled because the board had additional questions. In your packet, those questions were outlined with the responses in red. Did everybody get a chance to look at those? Mr. Chairman, unless you want me to, I'm not going to go through those.
No, you don't need
Unless
to.
you want me to, I'm happy to. I'm sorry?
You don't need to read those
Okay,
out.
thank you. Staff is recommending approval as submitted. So you can see this is the existing condition. It's the building there on the corner, the stone one. That's a survey of the site. Again, elevation details existing. You can see the condition of the front portico or awnings. The proposed awning shape. And it's our understanding from the applicant that the mortar joints behind that awning are in good condition. And that was a concern last time. The back, so the back with the proposed new windows and the added railing to the stairs. And that concludes staff's presentation. The applicant is here, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I see that the front windows will be replaced with an internal grid.
That's my understanding, but maybe the applicant could answer that question.
Permission to move to the mic, sir?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's always been our practice to replace these with an external grid that themes in with the time period of the buildings. Any comments or questions on this?
Why are
Yep.
they internal rather
When you
than-
say external grids, do you mean single pane?
No. The true divided light window, the mullions in there would be shown external to the glass. And even now with the modern windows that we have, with double pane, they put the fake mullions on the outside to resemble an original style window instead of internal. So if you look at it from a little bit of an angle, you still see those mullions on the window.
I understand. Our intent was, and of course we'll do whatever the city thinks is best, is to just match 120 next door. We wanted there to be a little bit of synergy between 120 and 118. So our original proposal was to match exactly the windows that were approved by for that building. So same upcountry, same glass, same storefront glass, same doors, same windows that they've already had installed in that building, so that there would be a little bit of a nice look for that little block. But
Would you like to speak
I
to
think,
that?
I think
I
they
don't-
made the same modification to their single panes.
There's no grids in those windows.
Just talking about the top one.
The upper ones.
Upper ones.
Yeah, we don't have any large storefront glass, but yes, to match the second story windows.
External grids.
They were supposed, yeah.
They were supposed to have external grids.
Okay, and I'd be happy to do that. Do I need to submit a?
Would you? Okay.
But
I
are the
mean-
ones in this building internal grids?
Yeah, now, don't
Which-
get my
which
next door
building?
neighbor mad at me.
Would you, you'd be good with doing external grids for that front window?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, the only reason I picked between the two, there's not a huge cost difference, was just to match my neighbor and try to make that look like a little cohesive block, so.
So the grid pattern would be the same? that
Be the
we
same as the
see
neighbor,
today
and it's
with
the same as the
arch on top?
existing, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah.
But,
On to the next item. And you replace these, you want to call them porticos?
yeah, they've already fallen down.
Yeah.
And they weren't original. The plywood, there was
Yeah.
no plywood in 1942. So when when I watched the YouTube video of the August session, I'm like, you made me nervous. I tried to kind of look back there to make sure there was original stonework with the same grapevining. And there was, and then when I did it, I'm like, these are going to fall down and kill somebody. So we went ahead and took them down. So I can tell you that, yes, the stone behind it is intact, and the grapevining is intact.
It's still intact.
Yeah, same as the rest of the building. It all needs to be cleaned, power washed. There's a few places that need to be repointed, but those are actually held in place by just two little gaps in the stone that are original on each side. And if you look at the proposed change, the two side pieces actually cover those gaps on each door, so there won't need to be any new stonework done. So those two thin side pieces on each side will cover those mortise and tenon joints. So the way that actually is held on is there was a 4x4 that came back from those pieces, and then behind the stonework there was a big true 4x4 that, and they just had a screw about that long in there that had rusted in half. That's why they were hanging down. But so yes, there won't need to be any new stone added, and there won't be any holes or anything exposed from prior work. So, and I actually tried to find a copy from 1942 or a picture of anything, because like I said, once we figured out those weren't original, it was 70s and 80s plywood, 70s and 80s shingles, but I can't find a 1941 picture.
The grapevining is a unique feature of that building. And
Yeah, that building and Northside Baptist Church, and there's one building in Pendleton that have that same stone and same grapevining, but my mason guy says no problem matching it if there has to be any repointing. So,
and next item would be the coping on the roof, the terracotta tile.
yes, sir.
Comments, where is it? It's in bad shape, and it's leaking into the walls.
Yeah, there's only about 6 pieces that were still attached when we went up there, so most of them were broken or missing. The real reason, frankly, that I like the black aluminum, again, it matches the next door neighbor in a lot of buildings downtown, but when you switch to a membrane roof, if you use the coping, you have to kind of try to somehow attach the membrane halfway up the inside of the parapet wall, and that always leaks. With the metal system, you can kind of come up and over the parapet wall, and then that metal cap goes over top of it. And I think we have an architect and a builder that can probably explain that better than I can, but it makes sense to me. They do make products, sort of like you guys have the simulated metal roof on this building, a modern product that sort of looks like tiles. I just don't think they look very good that can accomplish that same parapet cap, but I just think the black metal is cleaner and matches the building next door, but like I said, I just want the city to be happy, so whatever you guys think, I'm willing to adjust.
Any comments or questions about converting to the metal parapet cap? Okay. That's the last item, looks like. The handrails in the back. Can you go back to that picture for a second? They are they powder coated aluminum or wrought iron or?
Wrought iron, so 120, I agreed to split the cost. So my neighbor and I have already approved the some wrought iron fencing to go between the two buildings.
Mhm.
So we have some traffic that comes through there from time to time and stays. And they already have on the back of 120 East Earl, which is now 124 East Earl, they already have the matching wrought iron rail up, and ours, again, same manufacturer, same installer, it will match the next door guys. And the wrought iron pieces between the buildings that have been approved exactly. So,
Any questions or
unfortunately, my tech.
comments on that railing?
Can we go back to the windows?
Sure. Can we go back to the window?
You said that they would be like the ones next door.
Yes, ma'am. The second
Which-
floor windows and the windows, basically everything except for those two storefront glass windows that are beside their double doors.
Right.
So all the second floor windows will be matched.
So the windows on that are 2/2, but in the drawings, it looks like it's, yes. So what is the configuration?
Yeah, so
of the
actually,
windows?
the current windows are 4/4, and I'm willing to do the external also, but I want to do 4/4 either way, just because that's what's there. And they have 4/4s in the back.
Well, what about the front window?
The front window will be the same grid pattern that you see there, which is same grid match as what is still there
Originally
frame-wise.
was.
All the glass is broken out, but
Great,
Yeah.
okay, that was my
yeah, so
concern.
we'll match the number of grids in the front, exactly like it is now. It's just,
So that'll be 6 panes plus the arch portion of it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
And then
sir.
the windows down the side will be,
4/4 to match it,
4/4.
yes.
Great, thank you for
Okay.
clarifying it.
Yes, ma'am. No, thank you.
comments? Do I hear a motion? Motion from Amanda to approve. A second from Jill. All those in favor? Opposed?
Do we need to make a condition on that to insert the verbiage that the mullions should be true divided or simulated divided?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
External.
Unless it's approved as submitted. then
Right.
that-
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to add that condition.
Oh,
That
So
the
condition
mullions
is that
be,
the mullions are exterior, correct?
Yes.
well, not just exterior, but either true divided or simulated divided.
Thank you.
True divided or simulated.
Yep.
Your windows are going to be, just curiosity, your windows are going to be gas-filled,
Oh, argon gas? Yes.
yeah, for insulation?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm going to try to get a little noise insulation in
yeah,
there. Although the walls are pretty thick, but the windows will be the weak point. Yes, sir.
yeah. Thank you very much.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
With the chair's permission, moving on to BAR 2347, Thompson Fence. This application is requesting approval of a 4-foot picket fence from the back corners of the house to the side property lines on both sides, and then a 6-foot privacy fence extending from where that picket fence hits the property line to the back property line where there is an existing privacy fence. And we'll go over that when I get to slide if that is confusing, because it's confusing to me. The picket fence includes a matching vehicular gate on the left side of the house and a pedestrian gate on the right side. Both fence types are wood. The picket fence will be stained Sherwin-Williams 3107 white, and the privacy fence will be stained Sherwin-Williams 7100 amber hue. All proposed fencing is set back from the house, from the front of the house to reduce visibility from the street. In addition, this house sits up on a hill, too. Staff is recommending approval as submitted. So the site is in front of you, outlined in red. You can see Lindley Park in the very top, and then the new extension, proposed renovations to Lindley Park would be directly in front of this house. Again, there's Club Drive on the left and Park on the right. Does everybody know where we are? Okay, great. So this is an aerial of the house. You can see the backyard. This is the backyard. This is maybe not the best. This is the plan provided, but essentially the club is out here below the front. The bottom here is the front of the house. Here's where the vehicular gate would be, and the picket fence would extend from the corner of the house here and from the corner of the house to the property line over here. And then from this point back is the privacy fence on both sides, and it extends back to an existing privacy fence that is the neighbors and attaches. So this is the proposed detail on the picket fence that they're going to use. My apologies. That's the color of the privacy fence that would be painted, and that's the color of the picket fence. Excuse me. And I'm sorry. I thought there was a detail of the privacy fence, but I guess not. To my knowledge, the applicant is not here. Sorry.
There was a picture, I thought, in one of the backyard pictures of the privacy fence. Yeah.
The picket fence,
There, you can see it there.
it, not the normal picket fence that we've seen, but it's within a 4-foot height. And it's mounted, it's going
That-
from the
that
back
is
of the
correct.
house
They're-
to the side.
Yes, sir.
Is there an issue with that?
I think it's nice.
It's cool. Never seen one of those.
Do you have a picture from the street of the front of the house?
No, ma'am, I do not. Having been on the site, though, it's very elevated, and if you're on the street, there's not a very good, that's not the right word. It's not very visible.
You can't see much of where the
No,
fence would be.
Well, that's
We
what
can't
I'm
see the house
thinking.
even, with the trees.
No, I know it's,
About the privacy fence, do we know to be a standard privacy fence, 6 foot tall,
Yes, sir, that's staff's understanding.
dog-eared type fence, or board on board, or?
I think it's dog-eared is staff's understanding.
Meets our guidelines? Color? How do you feel about the color?
Kind of unusual. Never seen it.
well,
That's
is
that
it
color.
not the same that the back
Can you bring
one
it-
that already is there?
That looks
Looks
like
like
it's
it.
never been painted. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's a solid stain, it says.
It looks yellowy, that's what
Does.
it's maybe it matches that. Yeah.
I think what you were asking, my concern, is the privacy fence going to be, like you said, the same pattern as this?
No.
No, it will be the same that is existing.
It's existing
in the
with the
back.
neighbors. Yes. Yes. Any questions, more questions, comments? Do I hear a proposal to approve as submitted? Proposal from Jill, second. David? Any more comments or questions?
Well, I did have a question on the
Okay.
paint. Is it just going to be painted on the side that they see, or will it also be on the side of the neighbor's property?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps we could add that
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 it
it be
just
painted on
their
both sides.
Well,
Oh,
and I
just
don't know
one.
that the neighbor,
But you have to paint the whole fence, don't you?
Well, you're supposed to put the good side of the fence out. That's normally what you would paint. Some people do both sides, some don't. Do you want a stipulation that they paint both sides or stain both sides?
no, I was just wondering, because it does seem to be a bright yellow.
Mhm.
If my neighbor were doing that, I would want to have a say-so at the color that I'm going to be looking at.
I don't,
And
I
maybe
don't think
this is
that's
really
a,
not-
Yeah.
it's
maybe
a
that's not-
solid stain.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's in here or not.
It
It should
looks
be,
awful
there's a
bright.
number in there.
There, what was,
Ms. Noble, I believe you're correct. It's a stain and not a paint. It might not be
Yeah.
in
Yeah, it's a
there.
solid stain there, yeah.
Transparent
Semi-transparent
It's
stain.
transparent?
Mhm.
Okay, semi.
So it
So
may
It
be-
looks like they're trying to give it the
It may
color
be
of a
lighter.
natural wood, unweathered.
just like the back, that's already there. I think
Mhm.
that's,
It's hard with these little,
swatches.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll just be the color of the wood
Mhm.
that's,
to match the existing, is what it looks like.
I don't believe they have the stains in here, just
No.
paints.
But he ended up here on the computer.
That's what's so concerning, it's bright yellow on the
Yeah.
computer.
Yes.
But I think it's gonna look just like,
Yeah, looks like it's a natural fence, natural.
do
Will
you wanna
that fence
add,
be painted as well, the existing fence?
That's the neighbor's fence.
Oh.
is there a terminology we could add in referring to that?
Hmm.
Or can we approve it with the stipulation that they would bring a sample just
can do
to the
that.
office and you all could look at it?
We could do that.
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
That,
We could make a motion to approve with a stipulation that they bring a sample of stained wood into the office for review.
or the stain color, because the photographic
They
one
can-
was not
yeah,
accurate.
Yeah.
So just to be clear, that would be just for the chair and staff review and approval? Is that okay? Okay. Or if you just want to make it for staff, you can, but I understand it.
well,
Okay, chair's fine.
I think we're all on the same.
Okay.
Okay.
um,
And ask the
page
question,
on that.
if you don't mind, would they stain both sides of it? What is their plan?
Well, so, Mr. Chair, if I may, if you want it to be stained on both sides, why don't you make that a condition too, that it be stained on both sides? I think they would probably stain it on both sides, but if that's your concern, then put it in a condition.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Okay with that?
Yeah.
Unless the property behind it is, because this is in our neighborhood, it's dark black on one side, and it's a clear stain on the other side because it's a different property.
Mhm.
So I don't know what this one has on the other side. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We could ask that.
But it's going to come up the sides. It's not.
It's from the back of the house to the back of the property and ties into that other
And
fence.
this is just going to stay as is?
Mhm.
Okay,
And I think that's what they're trying to make it look seamless,
okay.
Mhm.
but this is very misleading.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
if y'all
It's very
saw it on
bright
on a
in that
piece of
photograph
wood,
there.
that would make a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay with that? Okay,
Looks like your jacket.
So, Mr. Chair, just so that I understand, that it's conditioned, this approval would be conditioned on a sample of the stained wood being brought into the office for your review and approval, and then a stain on both sides of the privacy fence.
yes.
Okay, great.
We have a motion before us with a stipulation. Okay. No more comments or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With your permission, moving on to, well, here it is. BAR 2348. It's in the Boulevard District. The site is outlined in red here. You can see the boulevard running diagonally across. I'd point out that the shaded area is the historic district. So this is right on the edge of the historic district. Everybody know where we are? Great. The applicant is seeking approval to construct an extension of the back screened-in porch to cover the entire existing back deck. This will shift to the location of the windows and door on the south wall. All changes will match the existing architectural details on the home. The new stairway and landing brick piers will match the existing brick on the ground level of the house. The roof line and roofing will also match the existing. Staff is recommending approval as submitted. So this is the existing condition, back porch, and the request is to extend that back porch over, and we'll look at drawings. Looking down the back of the residence, you can see the existing steps, and this is the other side. Up on the deck, looking into the screened-in porch, the door to the screened-in porch, looking out to the deck. Okay, so this is existing conditions, right? Mm-hmm. You can see the open deck here with the stairs. This is the proposed condition, so that lower roof would extend over. Again, this lower roof extends over here, and it would all be screened in. The stairs would be detailed like this, and they would sit right there in the middle between those two roof elements. Okay, this is a side view of the existing. Again, you can see the stairs coming down perpendicular to the house. And this is what it would look like with the new addition. So that roof extends back to this extended roof, and the stairs come down parallel to the back of the house. So existing conditions proposed. And this is you can see the layout, the new windows. It's my understanding the applicant is relocating existing windows, so there's no actual new windows. And that concludes staff's presentation, and the applicant is here. I just didn't have a time to meet you before, so to answer any questions.
So there's, just to be sure, they're moving one of the windows that exists now to a new location. Actually, they're moving two of them?
Yes, sir, that's my understanding. Yeah, why don't you come on up?
Evening, thank you for considering this appeal or this application. The existing windows are, there's a door and there's two double windows, 2 feet wide by 54 inches tall, and it's single pane over single pane. There's no dividers, there's no, it's a single pane window. It leaks electricity, it leaks energy like you wouldn't believe. But they are wood and they are serviceable. But they come as a combination. So actually my proposal, if you'll see in the top on this current slide, on the west wall which we're facing, that window is probably a 1950s 2/2 single window over the sink. Doesn't fit with the rest of the house. No other window in the house has any dividers in the window. So my proposal is actually to take the existing double windows that flank that door and put that in that space, and then buy new wooden windows, which will be so you can see the windows there next to the door. Those cannot separate. That comes as a unit. Okay. So what I would have to do is buy new matching windows, and I've got a quote from GBS to be the same size, same wood, double hung window without any dividers, and actually space those out along that wall and move the existing windows to above the sink. So we'll keep the original windows, expand that sink window just a little bit on the west wall, and you can see on that, go back one. So you can see the windows are spaced, they're separated from the door now as opposed to abutting it. Those will be the 3 new windows, same size and construction of the ones that are existing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you have that one window that has the 6/6.
Yeah, that's the bathroom. That's also an addition that was done in the 50s. This is a 1906 house.
Just to be clear, all the new windows will be wood, 1/1, double hung windows.
Correct.
Okay.
Same size, same dimension.
Any comments or questions on the windows? Yes. What about the bricks?
So the brick column,
Right.
so the brick to there's 2 wooden doors that service the crawl space, and then in between those wooden doors are bricks. To the left of that is just some kind of vinyl divider that was there when we moved in, and we'll take that down. But my intention is to, if those are 4x4 posts that support that deck structure, then I will encase it with a brick that will match the size of the brick that's underneath. So it's not going to be a post. It'll actually match and be painted the same color as the underlying.
Questions on that? Comments?
Will you do that on the left-hand side as well, where it's currently showing the diagonal lattice, or will that stay?
No, so what I plan to do with that was, on that area that's open where there's the diagonal that's vinyl right now. I'm going to pull it out. I actually like to use the decking boards that are 1x6s and make just a horizontal straight across that goes from top to bottom to cover up that underside of the house. And then we would probably hang hanging baskets from that.
Yeah.
On that wall to cover up, give it some texture.
The house, all vinyl siding?
The house is vinyl siding. I think when the Ricketsons redid it in the 1980s, to redo that entire house with wood would cost $200,000 in 1980s money. And I think that the Architectural Board gave a variance to apply vinyl siding over top of that. So the entire house is vinyl siding, but it's over the original wood.
And the new stuff will be vinyl siding to match the existing vinyl siding?
No, and underneath that deck, it's beadboard. So I'm going to take the vinyl siding out from underneath that deck that's going to be enclosed. I'm going to put beadboard through the rest of it to match what's there right now.
The staircase, everybody okay with that?
What is the material for your railings?
I'm assuming we'd have to have wooden columns being in the historic district, and then I was going to do a black wrought iron railing up to between the posts.
And that would be consistent on the deck as well, all the way across?
Yeah, so there won't be, the deck currently has, is just screened in. If you look, yeah, so you can see from that, the one prior. So the current is a 2x4, and then 2x4 interspersed with 4x4s that go from floor to ceiling, and then the 2x4 across. We'll just carry that theme all the way through with the enclosure.
Not sure how that works with a code compliance, but.
Yeah, I think I would think they would make you, since you're updating the screen porch, to be code compliant, add railing up there, since you're more than 30 inches off the ground.
I wonder how that passed code in the first place, but I wasn't going to ask questions.
So I would imagine they would make you do that, and
Okay.
if they do, yeah, if it matches the rest of the railing, that would be fine.
So,
What's the height of your original railing, do you know?
the original railing is probably 40 inches. That's current.
Current now, yes.
So that's 2-inch or 1.5-inch wood pickets on the current fence, between 1x6's top and bottom railing. That's what's currently we're going to rip out. So that is code on the exposed deck. The screen-in porch is not code. That's how we had it when we moved in. And I'm assuming if we're going to have to put a code compliant barrier on those bottom parts of that screen-in porch, that you would not allow a wire like every 4 inches, like the I've seen with some newer construction.
You
Like
won't be able to
stainless
pass,
steel
you can't be able to pass a 4-inch ball through the railings.
Right.
And is it 36 or 42-inch height now?
36.
36?
He's asking if a cable railing, horizontal railing would be acceptable, like a tension cable.
Yeah, I know that. I never have seen one approved. Anybody ever seen one approved? It doesn't really theme in with that age of that home. I doubt if you get it approved
You mean by us?
by us.
Very modern.
It's very modern.
We did on a rooftop of,
On commercial buildings.
yeah,
Commercial.
downtown,
Yes.
on the spa.
Yes.
Up on the terrace up there.
Yeah, on the commercial buildings, but I haven't seen it on residential.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on residential having it?
I think just like everything else with this proposal, it would need to match the, the existing details of the house. So another option, instead of doing the wrought iron to match, if you're going to use wrought iron going down the stairs, maybe you could replicate what's here with just some wooden pickets, in that lower portion of the screen, on the back side of the screen, just to be code compliant.
So I would rather keep it one or the other. So
Yeah.
I would either have to put wrought iron in the lower screen as well as the stairwell, or wooden pickets on the screen
Either
and
one.
the stairwell.
Yeah.
Either one would be acceptable.
Mhm.
I figured that.
Okay.
If it weren't so high off the ground,
Yeah, it's a screen that's held in by a piece of plastic. You get a toddler going through there, I understand.
yeah.
Any comments or questions on it? Do we have a motion to approve with the stipulations, these changes?
I make a motion.
Motion from Gia,
Second.
second from Billy. Okay,
So-
can we list the stipulations and changes?
So I understand, just so that that the porch railing will match what's on the stairs, and whether or not you use wrought iron or wood is up to the applicant.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, what's the only stipulation?
I think that's it.
Okay. With that said, any more discussion or questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very
Those
much.
stipulations.
Thanks.
Congratulations. With the chair's permission, moving on to BAR 2349. This is 903 West Market. It's the Moore residence. Okay, you can see West Market running pretty much across the middle of your screen. The site is outlined in red. Again, for your information, the historic district is shaded, and that blue line represents the edge of this historic district. Everybody know where we are? Great. This application is for a 4-foot tall black aluminum picket fence from the back corners of the house to the side property line, down the side property line, connecting to the existing fence on the back property line. So just one type of fence on this one, going down the side property line. It's my understanding there is chain link on the back property line that they'll be tying into. The fence includes a matching vehicular gate on the right side of the house and a pedestrian gate on the left. The fence will enclose a pool. All proposed fencing is set back from the front of the house to reduce visibility from the street. Staff recommends approval as submitted. So What you can see here in red is where that aluminum picket fence would go, and it would tie into this existing fence back here. So it pretty much runs right along the property line with gates here and here. And there's a detail of the fence. And that concludes staff's presentation. And to my knowledge, the applicant is not here today.
It's a nice looking fence. Any questions or comments on it?
Clear as day.
I think it's the kind of fence submittal we like, right?
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make one.
Motion from David, second from Amanda. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the chair's permission, moving on to BAR 2351 Glazed Bakery. The site is outlined in red in front of you. You see Tribble Street kind of running diagonally. On the right-hand side is Main Street, and North Murray is to the left of that, and the farmer's market is down here. Everybody know where we are? Great. The applicant is requesting approval of a new tenant modifications to the existing shell with no structural changes. Materials and finishes are as follows. The front columns will not be brick as shown in the illustration. The steel column will be wrapped in a hardy plank shiplap column. Paint colors are as follows. The building, which is the concrete block and brick, both of them will be painted Sherwin-Williams 7006 extra white. The building trim will be painted Sherwin-Williams 6258 tricorn black, excuse me. The existing metal door and metal window frames will be painted Sherwin-Williams 6258, which is the tricorn black. The exposed metal truss will be painted that same black color. The new wood screen fence in the back will be painted a Sherwin-Williams 0055 light French gray. The new black metal railings will be added to the front, left and right. Coolers will be added to the back of the building, and I'll show you those in a minute. And they will be screened with that wood privacy fence, again, that's painted that light French gray. Siding on the front gable end will be replaced with a hardy plank shiplap siding. The pendant light fixtures will be added to the front covered patio, and we'll see a cut sheet of that. And wheel stops will be added to the front parking spaces to save that patio space for pedestrian use. So this is the existing structure as it is. Inside, in that patio area, which is currently asphalt parking right now. This is the alley side of the building. This is the back of the building where the coolers will be going. Again, other side of the building, looking towards Tribble Street. This building is their what am I trying to say?
Inspiration.
Thank you. That was the exact word I was using. This is their inspiration building. And we all know that's on Main Street. So here are the plans. Again, this is the building. The covered patio is on this side of it. It's not shown here. But those freezer additions are right here with that privacy fence enclosing all that area. And this is a rendering of the what it's going to look like. Again, it's to note that the shiplap would be replacing up here what the existing condition, and while this is shown as brick, it's going to be a shiplap. That metal column is going to be enclosed. And you can see the pendant light fixtures hanging here, which would look like that. And that concludes staff's presentation. The applicant is here to answer any questions if you have them.
One question is, the brick near the front corners of the building, not the column, but the brick on the front corners of the building leading to that side, is in fabulous condition. Kind of hate to see it painted, but it does.
All the brick will be painted on the building.
Yeah.
We're going with white and black.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on it?
This is not a
Historic building.
1800s
Right.
historic building. I think it would be a
Improvement.
fabulous improvement.
Yeah.
I think it's a delicious plan.
Yes.
It's been there 60 years.
That took care of your painting on your brick. Yes, yeah. Color of the building, white.
Very nice.
Metal door frames and windows being painted, looks good. The exposed metal truss, which exists now,
They'll be painted black as well, to offset the white. And the front walkway there and the side walkway will be painted black as well. We have the railings are gonna be done by Hutch Design. Shane is who's doing them. And you can see, there'll be an aluminum railing, a heavy-duty commercial aluminum railing to try to match as close as we can to the aluminum around the windows. That's why we didn't go with wrought iron.
Will the area now where the car is
Uh-huh.
between the columns and the front door, will that be used as parking or not?
To a certain extent, it'll be used to pull in and out. If you go back to the picture, you can see on the left-hand side there where the sidewalk is, we're going to have tables over there, but we're not going to have any indoor seating at all. The tables are just on the outside.
I'm thinking it's a shame to have any parking there at all.
They can park behind the building, or they
They've
can.
added that parking lot, yeah.
It's tough.
Basically, we're going to try and discourage any parking in there. We do have to put the stops up to have them there, but it's not going to be an encouraged parking area, I will tell you that.
So the wheel stops will go under the covered area?
Pardon?
The wheel stops will go underneath the covered?
Yeah, they'll be underneath the covered area, probably 6 or 8 foot off the front of the building.
I don't know if this is within
So-
our,
Right.
if we're allowed
Wheel
to,
stops are
but
gonna go
I would
here.
strongly
We could
suggest
put them out there.
that there be
That's
no
fine.
cars.
Would you rather have the wheel stops out toward where the columns are?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we can do that.
It would look much better.
Okay, that's not a
It's
problem.
not truly under our jurisdiction, it's under
We could either do wheel
under
stops
zoning,
or,
but the wheel stops, if you didn't allow parking underneath that covered area,
okay,
it makes it beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful
we can
setup
do
in there.
It'd be great.
yeah, we can do that. That's not a problem.
Tables all over the place. And it's safer too.
He didn't tell me if he did.
Yeah.
I mean, you can park in the farmer's market right there across the street. But Merle Norman is going to park there.
I love this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So,
It was staff's understanding that the wheel stops would be outside the building, but we should clarify that. And I think it is inside your purview. If you want that, make it a condition.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're good with it? So we'll make
I don't
that-
have
we'll
a
make that a
problem with it
condition,
being a
yes.
condition.
And you're good with it?
I'd actually prefer it that way,
Yeah.
but I didn't know it had been done up that way, or if it hadn't been done up that way, so.
Okay.
But I think it's important to point out that there's no site plan showing that those wheel stops are going to be outside. So we're having a little bit of a communication issue here tonight. So maybe just to clarify it, if it is part of the, if it is a condition, then we could clarify
And it's
where it
clarified,
is.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know it's happened, I think, twice at Max Cleaners, that older people have driven through the window and injured people. And I think it's a safety matter too. Plus, there has been now public parking, isn't that correct, added right behind the school?
Right.
Yes.
There's ample parking behind the building, and I don't know that you could really park in the alley. It's a small alleyway, but
Yeah. Okay, well,
Like to make that
I'd
stipulation?
like to make that stipulation.
no, that's fine. I'm very good
Okay.
with that.
Any more comments or questions?
Could you maybe briefly explain what the column is going to look like if it's not going to be brick?
The columns will just be framed in, and they'll have corners on them. They'll be made out of the same hardy plank as we're gonna put up on the top. So it'll match there. I didn't want to close the metal in around brick. I had some hesitancy to close the metal supports around the brick in case we ever needed to get in them.
So what will the size of those columns be? Will they be just enough to cover the post, or
No,
they'll be the full width?
they'll be the
Just
full
shown
width.
right there.
And then around those columns where we have them, we're gonna actually put architectural boxes, for plants, for seasonal plants. Like you see,
Go back to the bricks. No,
yeah,
You gonna tear those bricks out around the base of those columns?
pardon?
Will you be tearing the bricks out around the base of the columns?
No.
Will I be taking the brick down? No, I'm gonna leave the brick there and
So-
just build a frame on top of it. And down around where the brick is, we're gonna put actual, architectural planter boxes. We're gonna build those right around there so we can do seasonal, type landscaping.
What about the sign and signpost?
I'm sorry.
The sign and the signpost, I've been told that I can't have the sign, based on the signpost, based on a new,
There's a sign ordinance that was adopted a couple months ago, and pole signs are specifically prohibited. New pole signs are not allowed. And just so that you know, that sign there on the side of the building appears in the rendering just to be a painted sign. That's not allowed in the central business district or downtown district either.
and that won't be there.
So it'll have to be an applied sign, but that will be a separate, just to be clear, this approval is not for any signage, it's just for the building. That will come to you under a separate permit number.
They'll come back for the signs?
Yes,
They'll
sir.
come back
That's-
before the signs?
That's correct.
In this rendering, is there a material change from the existing asphalt underneath that covered area? That's what like kind of looks like, maybe is that a paver
right here.
or
Right
what's
here's-
going on there?
Right, that he's talking about.
What are we gonna do?
He's
Looks like a
asking.
gray paver or
He's
tile.
asking if there's a material change right there.
There's not a material change. We are gonna go over it. I mean, it's in good shape. It's not in bad shape. There aren't any holes or anything.
So you intend to top coat it, I guess?
There you go.
Say what?
Do you intend to top coat it?
Yes.
You're going to seal it?
Yeah, we're gonna top coat it and seal it. And I haven't decided on the top coating and sealing yet, but we'll look at that. I know we're gonna use the epoxy on all the concrete. I'm gonna go ahead with an epoxy, industrial paint.
And you said that was going to be black?
Yeah, that's gonna be black.
So
With the
do
car
you all
street,
understand
that's gonna be
that?
black.
The
asphalt?
concrete, he's going to use the epoxy. Staff did not understand this, but the epoxy, a black epoxy will be applied to the concrete under the canopy, so you can see the sidewalks here.
It'll offset all the white that we're doing.
And where the car's parked, that sits on asphalt,
Yes, sir.
and that, you'll do
And we won't have any cars parked in there, and we'll figure out a top coat for that as well that will be, that'll appease everyone, that everyone likes.
Okay, well, it's my understanding from the earlier statement that it's just going to be sealed.
It is.
Okay.
I mean, but we're gonna try and make it nice, I promise you that.
So there will be a color too, and
I'm
I
not
mean,
sure that we'll do an actual color, but I think we're gonna try and lighten it up, like it is in the artistic rendering a little bit.
But you don't want the yellow lines, the
No, we're
parking
gonna get
lines.
rid of the yellow lines. We're gonna get rid of all that.
So it'll either be a black sealer coating over it, or you will try to go with some kind of lighter
We may
sealer
try to
over
go
it.
with some kind of lighter color, like a lighter gray or something. to
The
offset
darker
it.
gray, yeah.
And we can put that in for,
Yeah, it can come back, or we can, if you're all concerned about what's going on the floor, then maybe you should ask for a sample or a manufacturer cut sheet of how that's going to be treated, and that come back for chair approval.
I just haven't done that yet. That's,
And the color.
Okay.
We had talked about just overcoating it, but then we talked about lightening it up too, so.
So that would be a stipulation that they decide, when they decide what color they want to do, that they bring a sample into staff so we can look at that.
Does
That'll be
the,
fine.
does the asphalt go all the way to the road?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so it's
Does it
park,
go all the way to the building?
all the way to, from the building to the road, it's all one thing, it's all asphalt.
The asphalt goes up and then there's a small concrete walkway
Okay,
in front, right in front of the
Right.
windows. Now, the asphalt down the alleyway goes right up to the edge of the building. Someone had said about trying to put some grass or something in there, but that alleyway, I don't think is wide enough for us to cut it out and put a grass barrier in there.
It is pretty narrow. It's pretty narrow.
Yeah, I mean, and you've got some big trucks going in and out of there too. That's, what we were gonna do is put the poles up in front of the windows.
The ballards up there to protect the side of the building and the windows.
Cause what it has right now is just like one big piece of telephone pole sitting there.
Yeah.
What's there now to keep anything off the window?
Yeah, I drove through that alley and it is pretty narrow. Now the fencing around the coolers in the back, what will that look like?
The cooler,
The fencing,
privacy
or the
fencing.
fence. The fence is gonna be an 8-foot privacy fence. It'll be made out of wood, and it'll be painted.
What color?
And the cooler itself will be an exterior cooler. It's a cooler freezer combo. It'll have a rubber roof on it. It is only, it's not quite 8 feet tall, so it's gonna sit just below the fence. Actually, you will see the cooling units on top of it. And it's kind of a brushed aluminum. It's not a bright, it's not like bright. It's,
Like a textured aluminum?
Yeah.
On the outside, yeah.
Yeah.
Familiar with those.
and all that's gonna be fenced in anyways, because we're putting all our electrical outside the building as well there, instead of having it inside. So that area is only gonna have access through that back office, door.
The fencing's gonna be painted what color?
Light brown
Gray.
gray.
Light gray.
Yeah,
So-
so it's gonna be a lighter gray.
Any further questions or comments? So we have one stipulation?
So the conditions on the approval are the floor treatment under the front awning will be submitted, a cut sheet will be submitted for staff review, staff and chair review and approval. The wheel stops will be added on the exterior, outside of the covered patio on the front. And the only other one I've got, is regarding the front columns and the hardy plank. I don't know if there's a condition you want on those or not. I didn't catch that.
How do you feel
Well,
about that, Billy?
will the gable look the same as this as well? Because this is showing shakes on the front gable.
The front gable will be the same hardy plank, yes, as what's gonna be used to build the columns.
So that was
The
in,
artist rendering
I
looks like
understand the
shake.
rendering's
Yeah, it does,
different,
that's true.
but in the narrative description, they did say that they were going to use shiplap was the word they used on that gable end.
Yeah.
would it be too much trouble to submit an updated rendering when you bring the cut sheet of the?
Well, that's you. I shouldn't be shaking my
I
head.
can get an updated rendering. What do you want to show on it exactly?
What's going to be there? I mean, this
This is,
Gable
what
obviously.
he's saying is that from the narrative, this detail right here is
Uh-huh.
not.
Is not
what-
shiplap.
What does, that detail does not match what's in the narrative.
Okay, it doesn't match the ship.
Right,
Okay.
right. And the columns as well.
Right,
So
okay.
he's asking,
Yeah,
can there be
I-
a revised elevation?
I can provide an
Okay.
updated.
Okay?
So what I'm hearing is an updated front elevation for review and approval.
Mhm,
Okay.
yep.
Yes. Yes. Any further questions or comments?
So you also mentioned the columns that are existing now, you want those on the outside? Is that what you said? The iron? That,
I think he was talking about the bollards, maybe, is what you're thinking about.
What the applicant said was he didn't want to brick in those metal columns there.
Right.
But he has chosen, instead of bricking them in, to box them in using wood and shiplap
got it.
hardy planks.
So we won't see
That-
those.
I'm
That's
not
good.
an architect.
Okay.
Why am I talking?
So the drawing is showing
Right, but-
some metal columns on the outside.
Oh, are you talking about the
Yeah, the-
braces?
yeah,
Those, again, this is staff's understanding from talking to the architect, but those are existing. You can see them there. See them, you see my cursor?
They just left a gap in the brick.
Yeah, so they were leaving a gap in the brick for those to come through the brick. And I would assume they would come through, but again, I can't promise, but I would assume they would come through the shiplap structure.
They would.
Yeah.
Okay.
They would.
So the black line that's coming down the middle of the shiplap column, is that flush? I mean, is that a painted line, or that is the actual pipe that?
I think that's just a gap.
Yeah.
That is, again,
Oh, it's a gap.
It's bricking
That was a
bricking
gap,
around the
and we're
column.
not- I'm not planning on having a full gap in there. I'm
Okay.
gonna close it in.
So it'll just be the brace coming out at a 45-degree angle up to support the roof.
Okay.
The rest of it
that,
will be
yeah.
Yeah,
shiplap and
it'll
white.
be closed off up to where you'll just see the one piece coming out,
Right,
Okay.
okay.
is what it'll be.
That's what I was wondering
You
about.
just see that thing.
When this was drawn, it was drawn in like that, but we're not planning on doing that.
So the new rendering will show the way it's
Yeah, the
actually,
new
that'd be
rendering will
great.
show it.
That'd be very helpful.
Any other questions? No? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve with those changes and stipulations? Motion from Amanda, second from Jill. Any further discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried with those stipulations, which you'll spell out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll get that rendering to you. Do I need
I'll send,
to do that before we pull the building permit?
yeah, technically, you need to. You've got the demo permit for the inside, so you can go on the inside, it's just the exterior changes. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just get
I'll
all
s-
I'll need is the rendering and
Yes, sir.
the rendering and
The rendering and what you're going to do on the floor.
what we're gonna do on the floor,
Yep.
and showing the parking.
Yeah, that's not, you don't have to show me anything,
Well, we'll put
that's
it in.
existing.
We'll put it in.
Okay, that would be
That way
great.
everyone can
That
see
would be
it.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you, not a problem.
I sure do appreciate
Yes, sir.
We'll get back.
Yes, sir, thank you. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Can you email those stipulations to me?
Yes, sir, obviously.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Yes.
Oh.
Is there any business of the board?
Oh, I'm sorry, no, excuse me. Speaking out of turn.
Staff report?
Yeah, that's what I was. Just remind everybody that December 7th is our last in the 3-part series for training. Again, we will be doing this again in the spring because we do have a few new board members, not on this board, that will give them the same opportunity. So if you missed any, you can pick it up. If you don't want to do it at home, as always, though, you can do it at home online.
Okay. Any further business? Do we hear a motion to adjourn? Motion from David, second from Jill. All those in favor? Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks.